Hello friends! I am back with chapter 13 of The Science of Getting Rich. This chapter is called Getting into the Right Business. And if I've had personal experience with any of the principles in this book, this chapter hits home for me in several ways that I will be sharing with you privately here today. So first of all, I want to start out with, this book was the original creation before, if you're familiar with personal growth and that industry, then you'll have heard of Think and Grow Rich, right? So this book was actually where Think and Grow Rich came from. So I often read that too, and right now we are actually in a masterclass with Robert Hollis, and his sort of not challenge but recommendation is to listen to Earl Nightingale's audio of Think and Grow Rich. It's a condensed version of the book Think and Grow Rich. So I wanted to share that with you because I'm only on day 3 of doing that, and I have to tell you that it's beautiful. It's very beautiful what my mindset is able to stay with when you continually put the truth and the beauty of strength, faith, passion, purpose into your mind on a constant basis. So I'm listening to that audio along with my morning routine now. I've added it into, so I start with the God Memorandum, 6-phase meditation, and then I go right into Earl Nightingale's audio. And then if I have time, I will still listen to Bob Proctor's Abundance Meditation. I had heard Robert talk about that one time on one of his classes, and I love that. It's great. And then at night, I listen to some other meditations and also now Earl Nightingale's audio of Think and Grow Rich. So I wanted to share that with you. So this is where that came from, what I'm about to read to you. Unless whatever you build is built on truth, it will not stand the test of time. Now for me, I have been able to, that really coincided with this chapter so much for me, because what it says is that, what you are building in your life, whether it's, a relationship, friendships, business, it doesn't matter, because in all areas, we have got to be building upon our own truth, upon where we find truth and personal guidance and leading in our lives. So we find that often when we get to situations where we doubt what we're doing, or we're not seeing results, or we're wondering, is this right? What I'm waking up and doing every day, my actions I'm taking every day, is this right? So it goes back to this. Is it your truth? Is it your true purpose and life's journey, life's path for you at this time? Now, I'm also one that, I often say there is a season for everything. So rest in the fact that if where you're at is not, if you are unsure that you're in the right place, know that it is never too late to get onto your path of truth, okay? Don't let fear or time, like, well, I'm too old, or, well, I'm already in this situation and I've put so much energy into this. How could I even think of now getting into something else? But here's the thing. If it is not your true truth, the path that you are on right now, it will not stand the test of time, and it will not bring true success and fulfillment. Yes, maybe some success in some areas, but we're talking about success and fulfillment together. I've had many jobs. I've had many, endeavors in my life, in relationships and friendships that were giving me success or appeared to give me success. But inside, I was not fulfilled. Inside, I knew there was more. I'm going to take it back to a very personal time in my life. Before I began my spiritual journey, I was in a situation where I needed money, and I needed a lot of it. I was in college full time. I was trying to pay for my own living expenses, an apartment, feed myself, have money to travel, pay my car payment, travel to go see my family because I was off away at college. I didn't have the beauty of my of a financial freedom at that time. I had to create that for myself. So I had a friend recommend that I get a job at a strip club, and I was hesitant because I was like, I don't know if I can do that. But she reassured me that I could make so much money and that there's really nothing wrong with it, that, it's my body and it's beautiful, and why not? So because she was doing it, I thought, well, let me check it out. Let me take a look. And I did. I got into that and I started doing that for a little while. And fact is, I made a lot of freaking money, and I was able to stay in college because of it. I was able to, pay my car payment, upgrade my car. I was able to buy everything I needed for my apartment. I was able to travel to see my family whenever I wanted. So to the outside eye, I was successful, right? But within my heart and soul, there was a tug. There was something there telling me that this wasn't it, that something needed to change, but I had no other options at the time. I didn't know what to change, right? So I stayed there, and I stayed there, and I stayed there, but within I knew something else needed to come. I knew that. So in my heart, I was asking, let me find a way out of this. Let me find something better. Let me find something that not only brings success, but also fulfillment, at the heart level. So lo and behold, I was dating a guy at the time. Wasn't exactly great for me at the time. The lifestyle he lived wasn't what I truly wanted for my life, for my future, but he was a great companion and he loved me. So I continued to be in that relationship and to love him. He didn't like what I was doing either, where I was working either. So that created some issues there, but I went with him. We had been dating for a while, and he had finally invited me to a family gathering, and his family invited me to church. And I immediately said yes, because I had been, within my heart searching for something, different, searching for fulfillment. To this point, I was always asking myself every day, what is life all about? What is this life for, and why am I here? I was asking myself on a daily basis these questions. So, when the student is ready, the coach appears, and the coach ended up being a preacher at that time, and quite honestly, a religion. It was a Pentecostal church. They invited me to, and at the time I didn't care. I wasn't looking at those things. I was like, it doesn't matter. It's some kind of connection and awareness of something that I don't know anything about. So I'm gonna check it out. And I did, and I went, and that day I was so moved by the Spirit of God that was in that place. He will use anything. He will use a religion that might not be fully truth in all areas, but he will use a stone, a burning bush, right? So thankfully I was open. That day I gave my life to God, and I began my spiritual journey. And I did a 180. I literally immediately dropped everything I knew was not in alignment with now what was growing and blooming and planted within my heart. Love, peace, harmony, beauty, richness, positivity, light, life. I immediately had to turn from the things that were not that, because otherwise I would not be able to move forward. So from one day to the next, done in the club. I was not going back there, and I did not. And I thank God that he stepped in that big way, and that I had the faith to turn from my ways and to get into a new path of life. And, I ended up getting a job in a corporate office. I was a assistant to an executive vice president. in a huge company, and I was able to get on another path immediately. And this chapter really does talk about that. There's actually a sentence in here that talks about, you can never be, it's never too late. There's never a time where you're in such a wrong business or in such a wrong situation that you can't get onto the right path. So I share that with you from my heart to let you know that anything is possible. And I lost some things at the time. I had to move out of my apartment. I had to lower my classes because I was actually paying for my own school. There were changes I had to make, but for the fulfillment of my heart, I was willing to do whatever it took. And, it wasn't easy or simple or comfortable during a lot of that time, but within my heart, I sensed that fulfillment and that love and that light. And I knew that I was doing the right thing. So no, you won't always understand it, but it's never too late. I look at the picture frame behind me, and I'm gathering some quotes and pictures to put in there, but it reminds me that there comes a time in our life where we've got to wipe the slate clean and start over in some things. When we realize that tug and that pull at our heart that some things have to change. I want to give a quote from Emerson here that really impacted me too as I was researching this chapter. Emerson is one of the people that his ideals contributed to Wallace Wattles' writing of this book. So there is nothing capricious in nature when one has desire. It indicates that its gratification is in the constitution of the creature that feels it. So in other words, you would not have the desire unless it is possible, right? So know that. Another thing I wrote down, desire, let's see if I can remember it. Desire is talent-seeking expression. So desire is the beginning of bringing our fulfillment and our goals to us. Just the desire. It's not the action plan. It's not the belief that it can happen. It's just that little desire. And that's how it starts. That's how something new starts. It births and awakens with the desire. And if we focus on the desire long enough and believe then that anything is possible, and we have that faith, that even just a tiny faith the size of a mustard seed, that desire can grow and can turn into a beautiful, beautiful journey. And I want to encourage you and inspire you to follow whatever that desire is within your heart. The first step to achievement is desire. It's not the plan or the actions. It's simply the desire. So know that desire is powerful and definitely for a reason. And you are capable of achieving anything that you put your mind to and that you believe. You must believe, and I will believe for you until you find the belief in yourself, but you must find the belief in yourself. So getting into the right business, for me, in my personal experience, you will know that you are in the right business. And, when we say business, we mean, the business of love, the business of relationships, the business of making money, whatever, your business is. You know how you say mind your own business, right? Okay, so wherever your business is, whatever that is to you, time has to stand still. When you're going about that, whatever that is, it could be simply your day, what you work on. Time must stand still. You must have that sense of that there is no time, and that I could do this all day, every day, if time wasn't an issue, if money wasn't an issue, all of that. That I could literally do this from morning to night for free, without even getting paid for it. That's how much I love this. That's how much of a truth this is to me. And for me in my life, I think back 15 years ago, even 20 years ago, I've always loved photography. I always had that hobby, even as a kid. Like, I got my first camera, I think I was 8 years old, maybe even 7. I was really young. It was a camera that had the little flash bulb, square flash on the top that when you clicked it, the flash would turn. And then you'd eventually have to replace the flash, replace the film, 35 millimeter. Well, then I got my 35 millimeter camera when I was, I think, 12. And then I got my first digital camera. I was, oh my gosh, was I 27 years old? Crazy. But my husband gave it to me, and he saw the passion in me for photography and for photographing, capturing memories, right? And he encouraged me, inspired me that if that's what I would love to do, that I should do it as my job, that I should start making money doing it. And I thought he was insane. I thought he was crazy, because I was like, what? I love this so much, I could never ask anybody to pay me for it. Friends, that is when you know that you are following your truth and something that will make time stand still. That is absolutely what you should be pursuing as your vocation. So at that time, I did that. And this is what happened. I had to spend every day learning that camera, reading my manual, researching online how I can make it better every day. I had to put the time in. I had to put the energy, the effort, the cost of the camera and the lens and the, my materials. I had to make sure my computer and my software were up to par. I had to make sure I had what I needed, right, to do that specific job. So that's one thing, know that you will have to do. You'll have to take time every day to learn what that is. Maybe you're in a network marketing company. You've got to learn how that company works. Learn about the products. Have a personal experience. When you're promoting any product or service, you must sell the experience and your belief in it. It has nothing to do with what the product is. If you truly believe in it and if it's truly made an impact or is making an impact in your life. So remember that. This is a great quote here. And again, this came from the audio, Earl Nightingale's audio. Unless you control your mind, you cannot control your destiny here on earth. I've been researching destiny. I've been giving a Sunday series, and if you're watching this after the fact, you can go look on my personal Facebook page and find my Sunday series called Code to Love. And this Sunday, the third code to love is destiny. And I haven't revealed that yet. But that is what God's put in my heart. And as I've been researching, praying, meditating on this topic, I've realized recently, excuse me, I'm so sorry, that destiny is today. That destiny is not something to imagine in the future. Friends, your destiny is today. Destiny is what we create in our life each day. It is not something to achieve, friends. It is something to take right now. And unless we can get our mind right and on our truth, then we will not fulfill our destiny today. And, symptoms of not fulfilling your destiny is struggling, confusion, unsurety, those kinds of things. So, another quote, faith brings fruitfulness, where unbelief brings barrenness. Now that is really powerful, because in order to, pursue our truth and pursue what our heart's desire is, we must have the faith and the belief that it is possible. That is the foundation of bringing it to pass, having that faith, unwavering faith. So, this page here talks about that, you basically want to get into a business that you're most fitted for. And you can develop talent for anything. When I started my portrait career over a decade ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I had to develop that talent. Now in my coaching career, I am developing my talents every day. I am working on personal growth. I've been on a personal growth and a spiritual growth journey for over 2 decades. I've been reading self-help books, reading personal growth books, listening to audios. I've always been drawn to that versus reading and pouring myself into fiction. I've always been drawn to growth and growing myself. And now I'm so grateful and blessed to be able to be building this talent with my amazing mentors, Robert Hollis and Melody Ryba, to be able to grow these talents now into working with my mind versus my hands in my portrait business. You know, I've transitioned seasons now, and it's just only recently become apparent what is happening in my life. And I'm thankful that I had the faith to just go with it when I had that desire. And when I became aware of the fact that I had a bigger plan and purpose than what my goals were at that time. And my goals at that time were very money focused. When I hired my mentor, I had a goal of a certain amount of money I needed. Now, obviously, we got to be realistic, and if we're looking for financial freedom, anybody that's alive and human living in this world knows we need money to contribute. We need money to feed our kids, our family. We need money to clothe ourselves and provide a home for ourselves. So, there's nothing wrong with that, but we've got to go further than that. And that's where a mentor and a coach can help you see past the limiting beliefs that are holding you from seeing what that deep true purpose is. Because a lot of times, I'm telling you, most times, it must be bigger than ourselves. It must be and this actually talks about that, how it must provide what others are seeking. It must give to others. It must provide for everyone. What you're doing must give to the world. It must give a greater contribution than into your bank account. I love this quote from this chapter. Doing what you want to do is life. I'm going to read that again. Doing what you want to do is life. Don't let that doubt and that fear come in, and especially other people's opinions, when you're pursuing what it is you want to do versus what they want you to do. Because you can't follow a path of another. You can't follow an action plan that somebody else gives you without making it personal. We talked about that in the last chapter. You've got to make it personal. It's got to be your truth, not their truth. Now, for a while, we can hang on the coattails of others, and we can, follow a mentor and mirror them. But eventually, it's got to become personal, and it will. It will, just as it did for me. Here's another beautiful quote. And I talked about this in the beginning of this video. The desire to do it is proof that you have within you the power which can do it. So I believe in you. I know you can do it. How do we build our faith? How do we increase our faith? Say you have that desire and you're like, I want to do this. I want to build a network marketing company, or I want to be a coach too. Or I want to be an amazing photographer, or whatever your desire is, or I want to reach the top of my company. Maybe you're in the corporate world and you're climbing the ladder, and that's your goal and desire. There's no good or bad. If that's your personal truth and that's what's been put into your heart to do, that is beautiful. There is a purpose and a season for every single thing under the sun. So go with that. But here's how you're going to increase your faith. Here's the first thing. Repeated instruction to your subconscious mind. Now, this is called auto-suggestion. This is what you're going to give to yourself, your subconscious mind. So you must give yourself instruction morning and night to build your faith and to build your belief that you can do what you want to do. I'm going to give you couple of other things here. So again, the Earl Nightingale audio I'm listening to goes into much more detail on this auto-suggestion topic, and it goes much deeper. So I highly recommend that if you can Google that on YouTube. I will put it in the files section. By the time you get to this video, it will be in the files section. That audio is very powerful. I'm so grateful to be here sharing this with you and sharing my heart with you. Here's another quote that's really amazing. The best way generally to change business or environment is by growth. So here's the deal. There's nothing crazy you have to make a decision on and start doing today. If you're in a situation you want to get out of, or if you're in a, a season of life that this is not your forever, season, that there will be something else to come. All you've got to do is seek growth. All you've got to do is seek to grow yourself, seek to be better, 1% better every day, and that will all fall in alignment, because it has for me. It absolutely has. I'm speaking from experience. It is true. Continue to work on yourself. That is all you can do. You can't change, you can't take control of what is outside of you. The only thing we have control of is our mind and what we do, our actions. So work on that. Work on yourself every day. And if you're here, you're already doing that. If you're here, it's already happening. A lot of times without us even knowing. But, like in my situation, it says right here in this chapter, do not be afraid to make a sudden and radical change. If the opportunity is present and you feel after careful consideration that it is the right opportunity, but never take sudden or radical action when you are in doubt as to the wisdom of doing so. So I was certain that I needed to get off the pole. I was certain that I was not fulfilled. I was certain that was not getting me to my life's purpose. So I made a radical change. So I want to encourage you that, you can too. Don't worry about the feelings of those around you. Maybe you're in a relationship situation that is not serving you. Don't even consider the fact, well, I'm going to hurt this person's feelings. No, you're going to set them free, and you're going to set yourself free. If you're in a situation, especially in a relationship that is not serving you, your body, or your heart and your mind, get out. Do what you need to do to get out. Get the support and get out. There's no, worrying about other people. All that is a distraction to keep you in bondage and locked and tied up. And there's never any hurrying. Don't feel like you're behind the time, or don't feel like, you're behind track or anything like that. There's no hurrying. There's no, time is an illusion and a distraction for most people. We have to have time here in this world to function in a society and an environment that is, scheduled and a system, right? School, work, all of the things that, most people feel they need to do is based on time. So here's a big pop for me anyway, when I was studying this, is that time is an illusion, and if you live according to time only, then you're majorly limiting yourself. So really try to look past that. Try to not see your age, not see the year and the time. Try to look past that and only see through the heart. No one's going to beat you. There is enough for everyone. When it comes to being creative, as we're learning here in these principles, not being competitive and being creative. When we're being creative, creativity, there is no limits, absolutely none. There's plenty of time. Make sure you're contemplating your vision and your purpose on a regular basis. For at least 10 to 30 minutes every day, you should be visualizing yourself in the future. You should be visualizing what it is you want and where you're headed every single day. Every day. All your spare time should be in literally visualizing with all 5 senses. Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and feeling what it is going to be like to get where you're going. You've got to do that, because until you can do that and sense being there already, you will never get there. So start doing that if you don't already. This is a beautiful quote here. There is a mind which knows all there is to know, and you can come into close unity with this mind by faith and the purpose to advance in life if you have deep gratitude. And I know there was a chapter on gratitude. We've covered that, but here I'm going to speak this again. Being grateful for where you are today, and also being grateful for where you want to be. As if you're already there, as if you already have it. My mentor, Melody, sent me this gratitude journal. And it is absolutely changing the way I see gratefulness. And I've been practicing gratefulness for many, many years. even regularly writing down things I was grateful for. But I had a sense of writing them down for what I had now. So this actually encourages you, there's an intention side, and it encourages you to write your gratitudes for what's coming, as if you already have it. So I am grateful now that I am living in this house on an island and contributing to homeless children with most of my income. I am grateful now that I'm only living on 10% of my income and I'm able to give the rest away. That. So, yeah, you've got to read this chapter. Obviously, my encouragement is an inspiration to you is that you read this on a personal level and that you apply it personally. And I'm going to let you know, too, that the first time you read this, it's not going to make as much sense. And that's why I'm kind of here to share my personal experience with you so that you can relate it more to your life. But know that the more times you go through it and the more committed and the more faith that you have, it will start to make more sense, and personal experiences and points of passion will pop out to you in your own life. Opportunities will come to you in increasing number as you go through this material, as you build your faith and build your belief and get on your true journey, on your true truth journey. Keep in close touch with the all mind by reverent gratitude. And for me, that's God. That's our creator. Keep in close touch. How do we do that? I do that in my morning routine every day, in my meditations, when I take a shower, at night when I go to bed, in my meditations again. I'm connecting with the source, with the creator, with that energy that feeds my soul and my spirit. We can focus all day on our nutrition plan and, count out our calories and our macros and have our shakes and our bars and cleanse on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But until we start feeding our spiritual and our soul level, we will still feel an imbalance in our body. We will still struggle to achieve, ideal physical health. Because it's all related. Mind, body, spirit. It is all related and goes together. And you've got to balance it out. Work on all areas. Don't hurry. Again, when you find yourself hurrying, call a halt. This is right out of this chapter. Call a halt and fix your attention on the mental image of the thing you want. And begin to give thanks that you are getting it. Versus hurrying for it, versus feeling like it's out of grip. Just simply be thankful that you got it. It's a beautiful thing, and it brings so much peace. Knowledge is power only to the extent that it's organized in a definite plan of action and directed to a definite end. So I'm going to leave you with that quote today because that really, really was big for me to realize that I had been accumulating knowledge over decades, right? Just learning and learning and learning. And it wasn't quite as powerful as it could be in my life until I had an organized plan, until I had a roadmap, until I had everything in the right order. Then that is when, our true, definite path and journey comes into our life, and it's no longer a struggle, and it's no longer a hope or a want anymore. It's I'm getting there. It's I'm doing every day step one to step done to get to where I need to go and where my true heart's path and purpose is for me. So thank you for tuning in, and I know this one was probably the longest one yet, but I find that every chapter I go through, that more and more of my spirit and my mind opens, and I'm here to share everything with you. I'm not holding anything back. Anything that's inspired in me, that's creating and bringing life, beauty, success, fulfillment, freedom to my life, I'm here to give it all back to you. So if you have any questions on this chapter, write them down. We are going to begin having weekly masterminds in this group. And if you're watching this way later after the fact, then we're already having them, and I hope that you're gaining value from them. But always bring your questions. Always write everything down. No question is ever stupid or unnecessary. Everybody has questions, and the only way for us to learn is to hear each other and to open our minds up to each other. That's what a mastermind group is, to where when one person feels stuck, another person can open up that paradigm for them. Makes me emotional because it's so beautiful. I believe we were here. I believe we're here in this world to live as a community and to connect and to share our wisdom and knowledge with each other in a group setting specifically. I believe that's why families are so, desired. Because you're able to be together in one area, learning, loving, growing together, close to other humans, snuggling, that physical contact even. It's so beautiful. So now we've been given the gift of the internet, social media, technology to help us even further that, to help us connect on another level with the whole large world that is, in need of this, in need of wisdom and knowledge. These aren't things that school teaches us and that our employers teach us if we're in a typical job. So that's what I'm here to share with you. The wisdom that God's given me, the tools that God's given me through my beautiful mentors, and I'm just here to give it all to you. So let me know if you have any questions. Please send me a personal message. Send me, what you're thinking, what you've gotten from this, any breakthroughs that you've had, because that's why I'm here. I'm not here to just waste my breath. I'm here to help you find freedom in your life. And I love you, and I know you can do it. And I'm here to support you and believe in you. And I love you so much. And we'll talk again in the next chapter. Bye.